Margaret walked into my office last Tuesday with a question I hear almost every week. She's 78, sharp as a tack, but her legs had been getting weaker. "Doctor," she said, "everyone tells me to eat more eggs for my muscles. I'm eating 3 a day. Why aren't they working?" I pulled up her chart. She'd been doing everything right. Walking, eating protein, taking her vitamins, but her muscle mass? Still declining. That's when I told her something that surprised her. "Margaret, eggs aren't the problem, but they might not be the best answer for someone your age." She looked confused. "What do you mean? I thought eggs were perfect protein." And here's the thing. For a 40-year-old? Sure. But after 75, your body processes protein differently. I'm going to share something with you today that changed how I approach muscle health in my older patients. 5 types of cheese that work better than eggs for seniors over 75. Not slightly better. Significantly better. And before you worry about cholesterol or calories, stick with me. The research on this is newer than most doctors realize. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, been practicing for 44 years. I've replaced thousands of hips and knees. I've helped seniors recover from falls. And I've watched too many people lose their independence because their muscles gave out. About 3 years ago, I started digging into the research on protein and aging. What I found surprised me. Your gut at 75 absorbs protein differently than it did at 50. Your muscles respond differently. Even your cells have different needs. Eggs are fine, but they're not optimized for aging bodies. These 5 cheeses? They are. I'm going to rank them from good to best, and I'll explain exactly why each one works. If you're over 70, or you care about someone who is, this matters. Let me show you why. The foundation builder. Swiss cheese is where we start. Not because it's the weakest, but because it builds the foundation everything else needs. You know those holes in Swiss cheese? Each one represents fermentation. And that fermentation creates something called propionic acid. Think of it like this. Your muscles have sleeping construction workers. They're there, but they're not active. Propionic acid is like the alarm clock that wakes them up. Studies from Zurich show it activates muscle stem cells in people over 75. Here's the key difference from eggs. Eggs need complex digestion. Your stomach breaks them down slowly. By 75, your stomach acid is weaker. You lose 30 to 40% of egg protein before it even reaches your muscles. Swiss cheese? The fermentation already did that work. The proteins are pre-broken into smaller pieces. Your gut absorbs them 3 times faster. I had a patient, Robert, 81 years old. He'd been eating eggs every morning for 30 years. His muscle mass was still dropping. We switched him to 2 ounces of Swiss cheese daily, room temperature, on whole grain crackers. 8 weeks later, his strength tests improved. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. He told me, "I can get out of my chair easier now." That's what we're after. Real-world strength. How to use Swiss cheese. 2 ounces a day. Room temperature, that's crucial. Cold cheese slows the enzymes down. Best time? 30 minutes after any activity. Your muscles are ready. Pair it with whole grain crackers. Store it in wax paper, not plastic. Swiss cheese also gives you vitamin K2. That protects your cellular powerhouses, the parts that make energy for muscle function. Simple, effective, foundation built. The recovery specialist. Ricotta is basically pure whey protein hiding in a bowl. Athletes spend $50 on whey protein powder. You can get the same thing for $6 at the grocery store. Here's why Ricotta works so well. It contains leucine. That's an amino acid that tells your muscles, "Start building now." 1 cup has 14 grams of complete protein. All 9 essential amino acids, in the exact ratios your body needs. Eggs have leucine too, about 0.5 grams per egg. So 3 eggs give you 1.5 grams. Sounds good. But ricotta gives you 2.5 grams in 1 cup. Plus, it's in whey form. Whey hits your bloodstream in 20 minutes. Eggs take 90 minutes. For aging muscles that need fast fuel, ricotta wins. But the magic happens at night. Let me tell you about Dorothy. She's 76. Came to me after a hip replacement. Her recovery was slow. Muscles weren't rebuilding like they should. I told her to eat half a cup of ricotta before bed. Every night. She thought I was crazy. Cheese before bed? Won't I gain weight? No. Your muscles do most of their repair while you sleep. They need fuel. Dorothy tried it, added a little honey and cinnamon like I suggested. 12 weeks later, she was walking without her cane. I sleep better too, she told me. I didn't expect that. The alpha-lactobumin in ricotta improves sleep. Better sleep means better muscle recovery. How to use ricotta. Fresh, whole milk ricotta, not low-fat. Half to 1 cup before bed. That's your overnight muscle fuel. Mix it with honey and cinnamon. The honey helps amino acids enter cells. Cinnamon improves insulin response. Or make a morning smoothie. Ricotta, berries, ground flax. The key is consistency. Every night or every morning. Pick one and stick to it. The Muscle Memory Activator. Now we're getting into the serious stuff. Aged Parmesan. I mean real Parmigiano Reggiano. Aged at least 2 years. During those 2 years, something remarkable happens. The proteins break down into peptides, small enough to cross directly into your muscle cells. Think of it like this. Regular protein is like a package that needs to be unwrapped. Parmesan is already unwrapped, ready to use. But there's something else. These peptides wake up muscle fibers that haven't been active in years. Eggs give you 6 grams of protein per egg. Parmesan gives you 10 grams per ounce, but it's not about quantity. Eggs have to be digested completely before your muscles can use them. Parmesan's peptides? They bypass digestion. Direct delivery to muscle cells. It's like comparing ground shipping to drone delivery. Both get there. One is just faster and more efficient. Researchers in Italy studied centenarians, people over 100. The ones who ate Parmesan daily had 50% more muscle mass than those who didn't. Same age, same activity level. Only difference was the cheese. I think about my patient James, 79, former carpenter. His hands had gotten weak, couldn't grip his tools anymore. Broke his heart. We added 2 ounces of aged Parmesan daily, fresh grated, over his lunch salad. Took about 3 months. But his grip strength came back. Not all the way, but enough. He made his granddaughter a birdhouse last Christmas. First woodworking project in 5 years.
That's the kind of thing that makes this job worthwhile. The science part. Parmesan has more leucine than any natural food, 3.5 grams per ounce. It also contains those crunchy crystals you sometimes feel. Those are concentrated amino acids. Your body absorbs them instantly.
And here's the biggest mistake I see people make. They buy pre-shredded Parmesan in the green can. That stuff is dead. The beneficial peptides oxidize within hours of grating. You're getting maybe 20% of the benefit. Always buy a block. Grate it fresh, right before you eat it. How to use Parmesan. 1 to 2 ounces daily. Split between lunch and dinner. Grate it over vegetables, soups, salads. Never on hot food above 140 degrees. Heat destroys the peptides. Warm is fine, hot is not. Store it wrapped in parchment paper in your vegetable drawer. Now, you might be thinking, "Doctor, this is a lot of cheese. What about my cholesterol? What about the calories?" Let me address that directly. First, muscle loss is a bigger threat to your health after 75 than cholesterol. Falls, fractures, loss of independence, those come from weak muscles. Second, the amounts I'm recommending are moderate. 2 ounces of Parmesan is about 60 calories. 1 cup of cottage cheese is 200 calories. Third, the research shows that when seniors focus on adequate protein, their overall health improves, even if their cheese intake goes up. You can't be healthy without muscle. Period. Okay, back to the rankings. The top 2 are where things get really interesting. The overnight builder. Cottage cheese contains casein protein. While whey acts fast, casein acts slow. Really slow. It releases amino acids for up to 7 hours after you eat it. Here's the analogy I use. Whey is like turning on a fire hose. Big burst, then it stops. Casein is like turning on a garden sprinkler. Steady, consistent, keeps going. Your muscles prefer the sprinkler at night. Eggs are mostly albumin protein, fast-acting, like whey, good for a quick boost. But at night, when you're fasting for 8 hours, fast protein runs out. Your muscles start breaking down around hour 3. Casein from cottage cheese? It feeds your muscles all night long. Hour 1, hour 3, hour 6, still going. That's why cottage cheese before bed beats eggs for breakfast when we're talking about overnight muscle protection. The Cleveland Clinic did a study. Adults over 75 who ate cottage cheese before bed increased their overnight muscle building by 300%. 300%! That's not a typo. Patricia is 77, retired teacher. She'd lost 15 pounds of muscle over 5 years, felt weak, unsteady. I put her on what I call the cottage cheese protocol. 1 cup every night, 30 minutes before bed, no exceptions. She added chia seeds and walnuts like I suggested. First month, nothing dramatic. Second month, she noticed she could carry her groceries easier. Third month, her balance improved. She stopped holding onto walls when she walked. 6 months in, she'd gained back 8 pounds of muscle. "I feel like I did 10 years ago," she told me. The science simplified. Casein forms a gel in your stomach. It slows digestion. Your muscles get fed all night long, while you sleep,
while your body releases growth hormone.
It's like having a muscle-building factory that runs the night shift. Cottage cheese also has selenium and B vitamins. They support the enzymes that repair muscle. Plus, probiotics. They help you absorb protein 40% better in older adults. How to use cottage cheese. 1 cup before bed, every night, full fat. Don't skip the fat. It slows absorption even more. That's what you want. Add ground chia seeds, walnuts, maybe a tiny bit of honey. Let it sit at room temperature for 15 minutes first. Activates the enzymes. But honestly, if you'll only eat it cold, eat it cold. Consistency matters more. Choose brands with live cultures on the label. I call this a prescription, not a suggestion. 1 cup every night. Treat it like medicine, because that's what it is.
The champion. We've arrived at number 1. Greek Feta. Not just any feta. Authentic Greek feta, made from sheep's milk. This is the cheese that made researchers question what they thought they knew about aging muscles. The backstory. Scientists were studying Greek islanders, trying to figure out why they maintained muscle strength into their 90s. They expected to find exercise habits, special diets, genetic factors. What they found was feta. Traditional sheep's milk feta, aged in wooden barrels. People who ate it daily had muscle composition similar to people 15 years younger. 15 years. The secret is something called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. Sheep's milk feta has more CLA than any other cheese. And this CLA triggers something remarkable. It tells old, damaged muscle proteins to leave, makes room for new, healthy muscle tissue. Like renovating a house. You clear out the broken furniture before you bring in the new stuff. Eggs can't do this. Eggs provide building blocks. Great, but they don't clear out the old, damaged proteins first. Imagine trying to renovate a house without removing the old stuff. You just pile new furniture on top of broken furniture. Doesn't work. Feta's CLA clears the space. Then its proteins fill that space with new muscle. That's why Greek islanders eating feta have muscle-quality eggs alone can't create. I'll tell you something. I eat feta salad for lunch 4 days a week. Have for 3 years now. Why? Because I'm 68 years old. I want to still be doing surgeries at 75. That requires strong hands, steady grip, good muscle endurance. Since I started the Feta protocol, my grip strength has actually improved. My younger colleagues joke that I have old man strength, but it's not age. It's sheep's milk feta with olive oil. Every lunch. Now, let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 83. Had given up on her muscles getting stronger. "I'm too old," she said. "This is just how it is now." I convinced her to try something. 2 ounces of sheep's milk feta daily on a salad with olive oil. The olive oil part is crucial. Increases CLA absorption by 400%. Eleanor was skeptical, but she agreed. First few weeks, nothing. Week 6, she noticed getting out of bed was easier. Week 10, she could climb her porch steps without the railing. 3 months, she'd gained 5 pounds of muscle, without any exercise beyond her normal walking. She cried in my office. Happy tears. "I thought I'd never feel strong again," she said. Why it works. The proteins in sheep's milk are structurally different. Smaller molecules. They penetrate muscle cells directly. No complex digestion needed. The fermentation creates compounds that stimulate growth hormone. In older adults whose growth hormone has dropped by 80%.
There's also something called spermidine. It forces old proteins out of cells, makes room for new growth. Plus the olive oil combination. Mediterranean people have been doing this for centuries. Now we know why. How to use Greek Feta. Authentic Greek Feta, made from sheep's milk. Check the label. Cow's milk Feta doesn't work the same. Different molecules entirely. 2 ounces daily, on a salad, with olive oil, tomatoes, cucumbers. The vegetables matter. They work with the feta. Synergy. Eat this as lunch, every day. Wooden barrel aged if you can find it. Store in its brine, in glass if possible. This isn't just cheese. It's the closest thing we have to a muscle regeneration system in food form. Now, before you run to the store, some important things. First, this is not medical advice. I'm sharing research and my clinical observations, but your situation is unique. Second, medications. If you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor before adding lots of vitamin K-rich cheeses like Swiss and Parmesan. Vitamin K affects clotting. If you have kidney issues, watch the protein. Too much can stress your kidneys. If you're on sodium restrictions, be mindful. Cheese has salt. Third, when to see your doctor immediately. If you experience sudden muscle weakness that's different from gradual age-related decline. If you have muscle pain that doesn't go away. If you notice swelling in your legs along with muscle changes. If you have trouble swallowing or breathing. These could indicate serious conditions unrelated to diet. Fourth, realistic expectations. Cheese helps, but it's not magic. You won't wake up with the muscles of a 40-year-old. You might get stronger. You might feel more stable. You might regain some abilities you'd lost. That's the goal. Functional improvement. Quality of life. Fifth, some people can't eat cheese. If you're lactose intolerant, some of these might still work. Aged cheeses have less lactose. But if dairy truly makes you sick, this isn't for you. There are other protein sources we can talk about. Finally, this works best with movement. You don't need to lift weights, but walking, stretching, using your muscles. That makes the protein work better. Your body builds muscle in response to use. Protein is the fuel. Movement is the signal. I started this video with Margaret's question. She wanted to know why eggs weren't working. After 12 weeks of adding Swiss and Parmesan to her daily routine, her muscle strength tests improved by 18%. She's walking farther, carrying groceries easier, feeling more confident. That's what this is really about. Not numbers on a test, not scientific studies. It's about feeling strong enough to live the life you want. Here's what I want you to do. Pick one cheese from this list. Today, not tomorrow. Today. Start with the one that sounds easiest to you. Maybe it's cottage cheese before bed. Maybe it's feta on your lunch salad. Add it to your daily routine. consistently, for 8 weeks. Track how you feel. Can you get out of chairs easier? Carry things better? Walk steadier? Small changes, real impact. Over 50,000 seniors are already doing this. They're part of our community. They're getting stronger. They're staying independent longer. You can join them. And next week, I'm releasing something you're going to want to see. 3 simple movements you can do in your kitchen, 5 minutes a day. Combined with these cheeses, they can reverse 15 years of bone density loss. One of my patients went from osteopenia to normal bone density in 90 days. Her endocrinologist couldn't believe it. I'm going to show you exactly what she did. But you need to subscribe to see it. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications. And here's what I need from you. Someone you love is over 75. Someone is struggling with weak legs, unsteady balance, fear of falling. Share this video with them, right now. Text it, email it, call them and tell them to watch it. This information could change their life. Like it changed Eleanor's. Like it changed Patricia's. They need to know this. You can be the one who shows them. Drop a comment and tell me, which cheese are you starting with? Or if you're already eating one of these, has it helped? I read every single comment. I reply to most. This is a community. We're figuring this out together. Your muscles at 75 need different support than they did at 50. That's not weakness, that's biology. But when you work with your biology instead of against it, remarkable things happen. Take care of those muscles. They're the only ones you get. I'll see you next week with those bone-building movements.